Do not skim through life barely touching. Look just beneath the surface. You may be surprised at what you find. The surface of the water only shows the reflection. What lies beneath the still water is the depth of our souls. Do not be afraid to dig deep. Do not be afraid to open up. Gina Fiore. An excerpt from My Italian Therapy, Chapter 5. Just below the surface, changing your life one day at a time. Written and narrated by Gina Fiore. Available on Amazon Audible. According to a legend, the city of Gallipoli was founded in ancient times by Idomeneus of Crete. Historically, what is known is that Gallipoli was a city of Greater Greece, ruling over a large territory, including today's Porto Cesario. In 265 BC, it sided with Pithras and Taranto against ancient Rome, suffering a defeat which regulated it to a Roman colony. In the early Middle Ages, it was most likely sacked by the Vandals and the Goths. Rebuilt by the Byzantines, Gallipoli lived an economically and socially flourishing period due to its geographical position. Later, it was owned by the Roman popes and was a center of fighting against the Greek monastic orders. In the 11th century, Gallipoli was conquered by the Normans, and in 1268 it was besieged by Charles I of Anjou, causing numerous inhabitants to flee to nearby Lazio. The city was repopulated around 1300 under the feudal rule of the Principality of Taranto. In 1484, the Venetians tried to occupy it, but without results. King Ferdinand I of the Two Sicilies started the construction of the port, which in the 18th century became the largest olive oil market in the Mediterranean. So I'm taking my cappuccino and my croissant with creme to go because I'm going to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning. Go to Otranto. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. I'm at the most easterly point in Italy, in Otranto. I left at 5:30 from Gallipoli this morning. I'm not exactly sure where we're supposed to be. So I left Gallipoli at 5:30 and here I am running. Headed to the most
easterly point in Italy, Otranto. This is where the sun first rises, the eastern shores of Italy. So I'm in Otranto Puglia, and I'm running up this massive hill so I could be at this point. So I imagine whenever this was built, that this is the point where the sun hits. Whew. First time in the new year, or every sunrise. Whew. Okie doke. Here we go. Happy New Year from Otranto, waiting on the sunrise. At least it's not raining, right? Which is really cool. The bells just rang, so I imagine if there were no clouds, this would be where the sunrise would be. There's this tower I'm standing next to, and ran from behind those trees up from the port, which I'll go back there later. It's a beautiful morning, and it did rain here, and I drove from Gallipoli in the dark, 5:30, to get here to see the sunrise. But it's okay because it's coming. It'll be a little late, but it's pretty gorgeous. Standing where many men have stood before me. Happy New Year, 2024. Make it the best. It's 8 o'clock in the morning and everything's closed. I'm here to see the sunrise, but everything's closed, which is fine. I'm just looking for a coffee, and if this place isn't open, nothing else is going to be. Look how charming that is. It rained last night, but it's still charming. Buongiorno. Just asked this nice Italian couple if there was a bar down here. There is a bar, so that means there's a cappuccino and a bathroom. So I'm in the old center. I just happened to park by the port, see the sunrise. The castle was right there, and here I am. And then there's more. Daria Luce. I found it. Trattoria Pizzeria. It's on the harbor, and what a view it is. Well, it sounds like coffee to me. So I'm sitting on the beach. I found a cafe, which is a bar, and they have coffee. That's where you get your coffee in Italy, which I love because they have food and they're open and I got croissants and cappuccino, and I took a cappuccino to go takeaway, and my little croissant. And look where I'm sitting, in the old town, the castle walls, and the boats with the remnants of last night at my feet. Fireworks. So it's just charming. Happy New Year.
In the 12th century, less than a century after the church's dedication, the artist Pantaleone added an elaborate floor mosaic to Otranto Cathedral. The remains of the program, found primarily in the nave, detail the labors of the month situated alongside the zodiacs in 12 roundels and a tree surrounded by a plethora of animals and mythical creatures. While these are fairly common elements, both during the Middle Ages and in contemporary floor mosaics in southern Italy, the program at Otranto has district components. Most notable is the figure of Alexander the Great, who is situated to the right of the tree and surrounded by two griffins. His presence in Otranto was influenced by the multicultural environment of southern Italy in the 12th century. The crypt, which almost certainly dates back to before the 11th century, and which brings to mind the world-renowned Eurobetana cistern of the Basilica of Constantinople, is of significant artistic and historical value, so much so that it is considered an architectural gem within an architectural gem. The space extends underneath the apse for the full length of the transept of the above ground part of the basilica, the aisles of which are connected to the crypt by a wide staircase. Unlike standard crypts, which are completely subterranean and devoid of any natural light, the crypt of the Cathedral of Otranto rises about a meter above street level and is lit directly by 5 windows. The Castle Aragonese, built in the late 15th century when Otranto was more populous and important than today, and not long after the Ottoman raid that resulted in the execution of hundreds for refusing Islam. The castle is a blunt and grim structure, well preserved internally and offering views from the outer walls. It is also famous from Horace Walpole's The Castle of Otranto in 1764, recognized as the first Gothic novel.
I came, I saw, I parked right there. There's my car. Drove right to the port, took my video of the sunrise, turned around, saw the castle, parked here, walked around, had a cappuccino, and I'm headed to Lecce. Ciao! Happy New Year! From Otranto, Italy, the furthest eastern point of Italy on the Adriatic Sea, the first point in Italy to see the sunrise. So my Fiat and I are going to Lecce now, and there's several other towns that we'll be checking out. I'm not sure along the way, but I think I'm going to stick in Lecce and do day trips. I don't know. Who knows? Never know what one day to the next. So here we are at the castle park.